I was talking to Friday already. I said, look, I said a lot of good things about Graham Potter. I said a lot of good things about him, both on and offline, right? More offline. But the next 2 weeks will determine my final stand.
This week is the first week,
This week is
and
the
the
first
first
week
week
is coming this week.
is coming this week,
Right?
Because
This is the last time.
whatever lineup he put out this week, that's when I will know that. Oh, okay.
I think he doesn't know his team.
Of course, he doesn't.
I think he doesn't
Is he
know.
overthinking?
Even after that
No,
sign.
he's not overthinking. I think it.
You know we solve problem.
No, he's
man.
overthinking. Make it not be only
I
one
think-
person when they use that for.
I think he
Yeah,
doesn't
you
know
know,
who the right combinations. Because I don't know why. I don't know why Havertz is still playing.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
That's the actual problem I have. If Havertz starts
as in-
against West Ham, that's where I know that
I
this
don't
man is
know
useless.
why Havertz
But
is still
nobody
playing.
plays 9
What do
because
you mean
now
nobody
Alba
plays
is
9?
Alba is been sent out of the team.
He's not been sent out of the team.
Oba is in the
what's
Premier
the
League
issue?
squad.
He is.
How is he not playing?
Exactly. And then there's the
And
play the
people don't
play,
realize
play the 20-year-old Fofana guy. Havertz has been he's been a drawback for the team. Why
Havertz
is
is not a number 9.
He's not anything.
Honestly,
No, he's something.
Wale,
He's
I beg.
He's somebody who, with the ball at his feet, is somebody who can play. He's intelligent. He can. He has good
Are
close
you
control.
Are you talking Chelsea Havertz or
No,
Germany
Havertz.
Havertz
No.
or Leverkusen Havertz?
No, wait. Havertz is a good footballer. Wait.
I'm not disputing
Let
it.
me
I'm just
say
saying.
this
Are
way.
you saying that Chelsea Havertz or by Leverkusen Havertz or
Guys
Germany
be shocking
Havertz?
at Chelsea. Let's be honest.
So that's why I'm asking.
But I just think that
Even if you're not honest.
if
Even if you're not honest.
if you play behind a striker,
I think me personally, I think that's his best position.
if you play behind a
Not
striker,
at Chelsea. I think that's his
where
best position as
you
a
can
player.
give him the ball where he can play those nifty passes, one,
Wait.
two. He can play.
Wait.
Wait. No, there is time.
No.
Don't play him in a number 9 position. Defenders, I have a feeling that when defenders come up against Chelsea and they see lineup, you see Havertz, I think
They're
they
happy.
rejoice.
No, of course they do.
I think they are very
No,
excited.
of course they do.
Bro.
If not me, I go
They say
rejoice.
now
Yes.
from clap, that's the start, right? I can pull up, Wale will probably do. I can pull up at least 5 different locations where you say you can play behind the striker, you play passes. And I pull up 5 different clips where the pass is being on.
And
he doesn't pass the ball.
against Man City.
What are you talking about
Against
here?
Man City, I screamed my lungs out at Stamford Bridge. They played him and played Aubameyang
Arsenal uncle.
against Aubameyang. And every time Havertz had a ball, Aubameyang is a striker. Forget that he's having a bad time. He's making runs. Havertz is turning, twisting, dancing ballet. But he's someone that he replaced in that number 8 position consistently.
No,
for a while.
I think he's having a bad spell.
Yeah,
that's
confidence
why.
issue.
Yeah.
No, confidence issue. No. But
Wale-
leave
Wale-
that thing.
don't
Wale,
be-
don't
Now, this is
be-
the talk about Anthony Martial.
Don't
They
be-
say Martial. They say once
Don't be-
once you put Martial, once you give him the cotton gloves, black like this, and number 9 for him back, explosive.
Don't be Wale. The
They
point is,
said
I have
this
been the
boy
most.
can play.
He cannot
I
play.
The boy can play.
You know that Shaquille O'Neal meme. Say, oh, you're an apology. I wasn't familiar with your game. Peter Drury needs to give us all of us an apology on that
They
commentary.
said the boy can play. The boy can play.
He cannot play.
Make him get out.
He can play.
He cannot
The-
play.
I am.
Now, very
I have been
serious
the
person.
Make
most.
He
us
can
now
play.
buy this Martial now.
Maybe I don't buy now. Maybe I don't buy Giorgio.
Hey, when I buy this Martial now.
I have been the most critical
Give
of
me Ketia.
Havertz.
The pace of
Right.
Martial.
I have been the most critical of Havertz. But I think the problem is that they are playing. To be frank, I don't know what exactly is going on. When Tuchel was at Chelsea, the band used to be that he'd be like, say Havertz, they give Tuchel babe. Or he'd be like, say Havertz, get Tuchel nude. Because Tuchel, they always play am. Make it for no.
No, not German now.
Took to play anybody when they play well.
You get. You don't say that kind of thing. If somebody don't do somebody where you hold in explicit pictures, don't do it you don't like. You just crop the picture, post only the leg parts.
You go know now. You only
When you post only the leg part,
only you and I go know.
you go just put caption. You go
Say,
just
no,
put
caption now,
caption.
you too, you know.
You know.
You know. You just want to get my mouth. You know.
So, but quite on, and that's why I said this. So I've been a lot with Potter. Realistically, so I'm not saying Potter is the guy, but I still obviously the jury is still out. But the circumstance, it is very unfair to to draw a line below the situation now. Say Potter is not the guy for the job.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, he's not.
Of course.
Because the circumstance is just he's not been straightforward, right?
I have a feeling that most of those players, he didn't ask for them.
Which ones?
Most of these players they have signed.
January or in the summer?
I think it's January.
January. All of them were Potter signings. All
You
of
think
them.
so?
Yeah, they were.
I saw them play. I saw they say Mudrik.
Actually,
They were first guy. They say
All of
Mudrik.
them.
I actually don't think so.
That guy.
But I'm telling you that they were. They were.
That face. That
But I'm
face,
telling
the
you
guy
that-
don't run. Do
But I'm telling you that they were.
Who?
You don't know say Fwan when they play. Fwan when they play like.
Feel like get Paulina. When I Paulina for that area.
They will carry low
See,
blood give you. Don't worry.
See, it's some big clubs. You see some big clubs. They need to fire all the people doing scouting for their clubs. Sometimes I see players. This Caicedo that, everybody's jumping about. How clubs like Brighton would they see players like this?
But you should know now.
How many players in defensive positions?
Even that Gnoto boy. That,
Better than this Palinia.
that guy for
Do you know when I knew this Palinia
That guy
guy?
could die.
My brother does scouting work for my My brother will be telling me.
Jim Lolo.
My brother who is a Man fan, called me. He said there's a player in Sporting Lisbon. His name is Palinia. 3 years ago, 2020.
Baba, even this Gnoto guy.
He said I watched.
I will pick that guy over.
I mean,
Modric.
YouTube dropped my brother
He doesn't
money.
go, he's
My
coming.
brother they scout players. He said.
I saw Obet and
beast
do.
in midfield. Nobody will look at. Fulham will sign him. Played against Chelsea. Look like.
Baba, it's because they are in a
million
small
stars.
team.
No, no,
If
no.
sign,
You do understand?
It's
That's
because
why
it's-
the big teams
it's
don't
because-
just sign
it's
them
because
like
they are in a
that.
small
In-
team.
no,
Hold on.
no.
If this guy Modric now can't go Brighton. He go turn to Gnoto. They do all this.
No, but that guy at Brighton, that Asian guy.
Mitoma.
Every time.
Hey!
No, the thing about Asians is that you get one person.
Yeah, but it's the same thing now. You can take him to
and
you
they're
can take
always
him to
very
a big team.
exceptional.
You can take him to a big team too, and he doesn't.
He
do
won't be
well.
he won't be your star guy. Eh?
You see.
But that boy is quality.
See, I said something
As
about
in, that boy's confidence is
Tomiyasu
even
on
mad.
this
Whoa!
table. I
His
said something
confidence
about
is
Tomiyasu on this table. You people laughed at me. You see, Japanese people.
But where is Tomiyasu now?
No, Tomiyasu is not playing. No, wait. He went to a club where somebody want to use and do blood money. That one run come on.
Where is he now? What's he winning?
Had a crack out of a performance over the weekend. By the way, if you bet in French league, Monaco, Paris Saint-Germain this weekend, Monaco to score 2 goals. Guaranteed.
They knock
I don't tell you.
They say I really want to
I don't tell you.
I really want to go for the Athletic. They say Nicolas Goita, the man doing what succeeding where other managers failed. You don't come them for range cup.
So Japanese players are, the way the Japanese people are. I just feel like they might not be the best. They're just hardworking. You see that Mitoma boy? That boy runs from the first minute of the game to the end. 93 minutes, the boy is running.
Eh, but that might not
you see the problem is when you can't come man you say
That's the thing.
stop running.
You get it.
Stop running.
That might not be what you need to
Modife,
succeed.
don't run.
Rashford.
Don't run.
Oh my God! What happened? You see
That might not be what you need to
Rashford,
succeed at the
Rashford.
top team.
Papa, run. I don't like players that run. In fact, once I see you running too much, I know that you're
let me
hiding
tell you,
something. You are hiding
Like
something.
that Gnoto boy.
See, let me tell
Why is he
you.
running anyhow?
See, let me tell you. There's a very big chance that
Marcus-
there's a very
Ma-
big
Marcus
chance.
Rashford.
See,
I
there's
saw
a very
something on
big
Twitter.
chance.
They said very close to Mbappe. I saw it on Twitter. Somebody said, he just needs to get this level of
Now you go.
consistency.
See, no need to talk about that one too much. Now you go. See, let me tell you. See,
He dey smoke Igbo. He dey take Indian.
there's a very big chance that
Like,
majority of the players that you see the small teams sign, either they've been offered to the big teams or the big teams know that they exist. I don't think. See, the scouting system. First of all,
wait, get in and then
wait.
you now go and look for
Scouting
them.
be like
Wait.
agent,
Wait.
this agent work.
Do you understand?
They know
It's
all
like
the
they
players.
know. See, let me tell you. As a matter of fact, Ini,
two-bedroom
as a matter of fact,
two-bedroom apartment.
I didn't tell you.
You go buy.
But that's how it
But
works.
that's what it is.
They
As a
know,
matter
I
of
think
fact,
they
make
don't
I
know
tell
it.
you,
I think they don't know.
make I tell you, the scouting companies or the agents, it's not like there are a lot of them. There is George Mendes. George Mendes probably owns maybe 2 or 3 companies. There's them Pinisahavi them. There's the Mineralolas company. It's not like that. There are a lot of them. But you now have a lot of people who work for some companies. It can be 2-3 agents, but they also have contacts in that company.
Yeah.
So most of the time, these players that you've seen that this person, if Mudryk, for example, I think it was last year or 2 years ago.
Brentford.
Mudryk was supposed to go Brentford.
Brentford, yeah.
In fact, Brentford thought they had a deal sealed for 30 million. After then, Brighton thought they had a deal sealed for Mudryk. That was supposed to happen. So, not be said the big clubs know they see. The thing is that the big clubs know
They don't take chances.
that's exactly, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they can't even afford to take those chances.
I'll come in differently, right? I agree with what I said, but what I think is, for when you find a diamond in the rough, right? Like Minamito and all those players might be tied to too many third parties, right? One academy here, one academy here,
True.
And big clubs are thinking, we don't want to
untangle
this thing first.
That's why they do with agents.
Untangle this thing
That's
first.
why they do. Are you the one?
Are you the guy? And more often than not, there is never one guy.
With African players, you said
African player is the worst.
If you like,
right?
I
Also-
don't mention the club name now, Nigeria. When club from abroad come buy the boy, the club where they play for Nigerian league, the owner come when they don't do a transaction, the owner come they expect one kind mad alert.
Yeah.
Out of like let's say 1 million, it comes to like 100K.
everywhere we scatter.
Everyone's scatter now.
Everywhere scatter.
He called the club. Say, bro, now bring that boy back.
They say, as no be you get the player. For 4 years, this guy.
So you
For
see,
4 years, this guy they play for my team. And they feed out, they play, and you say no be me get the player.
so you see that's the problem,
It's
right?
like that too.
And
And that's what it is.
also sometimes
How they run, oh.
the flip side is sometimes the agents also and the parents or whoever is in charge of the player at that time can make more money from them moving to a smaller club, right? Because of the things they can demand from the smaller club, in way of clause. Put this here. If they sell them, I heard a story that I think one of these players, I think it was Mbappe, one of these players, one of these players, I think it was it Hazard or something. One of these players wanted to move to United, and they wanted a sell-on clause. United were not willing to put any sell-on clause, and we're not going to put any release clause in the contract. One of these key players that is
The
popping
big
now.
clubs negotiate differently.
Mbappe,
They don't want to hear
Mbappe
when
was-
you are here.
Wenger met with
Even Reguilon said that.
You get the big clubs negotiate differently.
Mbappe in 2015. Wenger met with Mbappe and his family. They agreed the boy was going to come to Arsenal, and then his family demanded £5 million. And Wenger thought, crazy. How can I give the parents of this small boy £5 million for what? That's how the boy went to Monaco, and that was the end.
You get.
That was how
But
they went to Barca now. Barca paid the family.
Yeah, 40
So we never hear the. You say
40
40 million. We have not heard the end of
Neymar's
it.
deal.
That is
Neymar's deal.
now
It's
within
still-
their-
remember,
it's still in
Barca paid
court.
his
For
family
me, now
40
within their-
million.
now
I
within
have nothing wrong
now
with it.
it's in
I
their
don't see
mouths.
anything wrong in that.
No, I don't see anything wrong with it.
As far as
but
I'm concerned.
that's their business. For me, that's
That's
what their mouth
That's how
will
they
tell
want
you.
to- That's what they want to.
You understand? But in the end, anyway, that's that with that.
I actually wanted to ask Ini, why do you think that those players that Chelsea have signed in January, Potter didn't ask for them?
I just don't think
No, why?
the body language he said something suggestive, early in January about new players coming in. That's not a manager who looks like, oh, those are players I wanted. It just doesn't feel like, oh, I want this guy, because sometimes
So what do you think has happened?
that guy has not been in that position. I said it on the show the other day. He's not been in that position before. That's why he's struggling. He's been inundated with top players, players who are earning incredible wages.
Yeah.
That is very hard for a manager who was at the club, a modest club.
Yeah.
I think the job at the moment is overwhelming him.
I think that
I think the
I
job.
think he's a good manager.
Yeah.
I think if you give him time, 2 years, 2 seasons, might not be afforded
I think
that.
you
but
might be-
You need to allow him on the
I
job.
think you might be right, but I don't think there's enough evidence now to show that the job is overwhelming him because maybe he's got big players to deal with.
Maybe.
Because there's just been too many things happening to narrow down on the fact that, oh, this job is bigger than him, that's why he's struggling. There's been so many other things happening.
You see, the many things happening can also be, you can also say the many things happening are indicators to maybe the job is not bigger than him, but it is an uncomfortable position for him.
Yeah.
It would
Right.
be what has happened
So-
around
so-
him would have been uncomfortable for any manager.
No, not necessarily.
It would be because here's
hold
why.
on, hold on.
Wait, let me finish.
Do you think Tuchel would have struggled in this position?
Tuchel's circumstance when he came in was different. You know, you see,
Let's not use
why
Tuchel.
it is
Tuchel
different.
is not quite there.
No, even any manager at
is
all.
it a problem for Pep to bring in 7 players?
No, it's
it's
not.
not a
problem.
No, I'm not even talking about the bringing in players. I'm talking about why he has struggled in the job generally. I'm not talking about him bringing in players in January. If you remember, when Mourinho came back the second time, right? One of the things Mourinho was talking about was why this team at this moment cannot be that team that people want it to be. Win this title, win that title, win that. Because Mourinho broke it down, and that's a very experienced guy. With Potter, maybe he can't communicate like Mourinho. Obviously, doesn't have the kind of presence Mourinho has. Obviously, doesn't have the kind of command Mourinho has when he speaks to the press. But the scenario with Potter is, it is not a natural or what's the right word to use? It's not an ideal situation for a manager to come in 7 games into a season with no preseason, and then you've got 10, 12 players injured, and majority of those players injured are absolute players that you need for the team. It's not an ideal situation.
Yeah.
It is not.
So, and when that happens, any manager that is in charge, what you have to, you paper over the cracks, you try and, because your best players are out. That's why I said there are too many things happening.
It is not. But, and I told you, I agree with a lot of things you've said. It is not an ideal situation for any manager to come in and have that many injuries in the team. Where would make a detour is, for managers like Potter, they are used to solving their problems not on players, but solving their problems by implementing strategies
With the team. Yeah.
right? So their game and his evolution as a manager has been predicated on, this is what I bring to the table as a football manager.
Not just going into the market and splashing the cash.
Frameworks.
That's where...
These are the frameworks of how
Absolutely brilliant
whatever
idea
your
from you.
framework is,
Framework
you
of
need.
Hold on.
I think that is the guy. That guy has worked in a team where small budget, low budget players. This is how we play. We build our team on the strength of hard work. We press our opponents. We make it very intense for them. But when you now start trying to solve the problems on the pitch by splashing the cash,
by bringing players.
what happens?
What happens?
That's why I think maybe some of the players.
It is not a bad strategy, right? What happens is that you have a guy who is suddenly having to depend on a different framework from what he's used
No,
to.
not necessarily.
Hold on.
Not necessarily.
But that's what it looks like.
No.
But
That's what I'm trying to explain.
No, but you have to accept that that's what it looks
whilst
like.
winning
And I'm trying
games.
to explain that that's not what it looks like. Because, for example, like Brighton, right? Aside from, obviously, I think Mitoma came in before the start of this season.
No, last season.
Yeah. Before the start of this season.
This season.
2022, 2023.
This 20. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay, I'm mixing up with the other Ecuador
So-
guy, Sarmiento.
majority of the players, the core guys there now, is
Graham
Graham
Potter.
Potter.
Yeah.
bringing them in, including Caicedo, bringing them in. So, there is obviously, this is the system. It's not predicated on I must have the best players in the world. But mind you, that can also be because, where have you been to? You've been to Ossisons and you've been to Brighton, right? But whatever your framework is, whatever your style is, whatever your philosophy is, you need players to execute. Don't you? You do. So when you come into a team that has been built on Reece James and Chilwell and Kante, and you come in, and since you've been there, you've not been able to call on Kante once. Reece James and Chilwell haven't played together since you've been there. And if you remember also when he came in...
And you have 18 new players.
you know, some of them,
Come on,
some of them, remember, no,
18 new
no,
players.
now the total squad now is about 30 something.
Jesus.
Now remember, now let me even break it down
saw
further.
Keylor Navas
Let me
there, I
even
was
break.
shocked.
See, let me even.
Keylor Navas is at
He's not
Nottingham
there.
Forest.
Let me break it down further.
Nottingham Forest, please, they should arrest the owner of that club.
When Tuchel was in charge,
By the way-
when Tuchel was in charge, one of the reasons why Tuchel had to go, right, according to what was that the owners wanted Tuchel to be involved in the players that were signed. Tuchel didn't want to be.
Okay.
Was one of the reasons why he needed to go, right? So
So when you say involved, like talk
part
to
of
the players,
part of this
the
is what
transfer
this is what you need. This is how you are going to be. You need this player. You speak to the player involved in what is going on. Tuchel didn't want to. That's some of the news that is out there.
Tuchel is a coach.
It's hard to believe, but
No,
when
Tuchel
I
is
heard
a
it,
coach.
it's hard to believe.
The players
Actually,
like that, the managers like
it's
that.
it's
they're
true.
Coaches.
Actually, it's true. It's hard to believe.
Arteta was the same.
But guess
thing.
what? You know why?
Arteta told the club, "I don't want to be a manager. That's why you need a sporting director. That's why my job is I will
But guess what?
identify the players you
Identify.
need. I will identify the players you need. Edu will take
go
the
and do-
conversations. I'm not going to go and
You
call
see,
a player.
those are the clubs that have a structure of criminality.
You see, Ini.
They don't
Ini.
want. You see, they want to pay you, 10,000, but make you do 10,000 naira work.
You see what you just said, and that's why I asked you the whole. Why do you think the players that they've signed, Potter didn't ask for them? Because all of the players that they've signed, not only did Potter identify, Potter spoke to all of them.
Potter go the
All.
five players from Ecuador.
So-
and
so-
Colombia.
No, now he's not the one that will scout now.
Like it
He's
or
not the one that will
no,
scout now.
Like it or not, we get the point, right? I'm just saying that there is when there's a deviation, or there might be a deviation from what he's most comfortable with.
Yeah,
Jury
right.
is out, like
You
I
know,
said.
and,
The jury is still out.
and for me, at the top end, when you're punching at the top end of the table, right, the margin for error is so low because
But there's a reason they gave him 5-year contract.
take for example, right?
No, there's a reason.
Chelsea
You
hand
are
out
right.
Chelsea hand
No,
out
I don't
Chelsea
think
hand
so.
out 10-year contracts to anybody now, right? So if you have a 5-year, you're probably not safe. The lowest at Chelsea now is 7 years. They give it to you. You stay there. I guess it's a new word everybody's farms in with now, amortization and whatnot, right?
He's been there for forever.
Right.
I don't understand.
Anyway,
why.
but the point is that you mentioned, this guy has 30 players in the team, right? And all of a sudden, this Potter find himself sitting in the office and having to speak to 6 extra players about, how he chooses to integrate them, why they're not playing this week. 6 months ago, all he had to do was, look, I'm here, I'm sprinklers, cones, balls, I'm here, let's walk, we're getting things done on this thing. All of a sudden, I'm in the office, you have to be in the office for 2 hours, speaking to players, coming in and going out, attend to this, So, go back to the point we made about, City, about everybody doing a little bit less. Now, in reverse, is doing a little bit more. And that now takes away your attention on the things that you could have had attention to, tactics, formations, systems, more time to, envisage something. And all of a sudden, you're spending more time with players. So I think that he's in an uncomfortable place where he would either sink or swim, right?
Of course, that's what
And
happens when
for
you're a
me-
young guy that comes to a top team.
For me, it behoves on Chelsea to have known that this would happen,
I think the owners
right?
knew.
So it would
And I hope they don't fire him.
insanity. It would be
Wh-
crazy
Wherever they finish.
if they fire Potter.
Yeah,
But it
crazy.
would also be the language of the market because everybody accepts that this is the name of the game.
Yeah.
You've got to
Let's
win
say they
games.
fire him home.
It's a ruthless
Who is
club.
out there?
I think first of all,
I
the
think-
only
I think
reason
we're
you
brilliant to
fire
bring Jose
Potter,
back.
I think the only reason you fire Potter at the end of the season, even there's no reason why you fire him before the season ends.
If they drop
only
below where
reason-
they are now, you have to fire him.
No, I don't think.
No, you
I don't
can't
think it
fire
makes
him.
sense. You know why I don't think it makes sense to fire him before the season ends? Is because what do you expect if you're brought in a coach at that point in the season and you expect him to clean the mess of the other guy and then while building his own? And what do you expect?
Anyway,
And then they've accused you of not knowing what you're doing, like you are a child with a PlayStation pad that you don't know, you're just throwing money around. So if you fire Potter now, it more or less marks what they are saying. That
Exactly.
I believe you don't know what you're doing.
I take that back. I do believe that it is a bit of stupidity to fire a manager without having his own preseason, his own, given the full complement of what it takes to succeed.
So you get and
right?
see.
And see where
Oh,
it takes
you know, come Sabi
You
that
understand?
time. Please get out.
So there is that.
Clout. Reach out.